You're watching KCRG TV9. Now, from your 24-hour news source, this is KCRG TV9 News at 6.
Coming up on the KCRG TV9 News at 6, the gun debate brings dozens to one eastern Iowa town. Inside how Mount Vernon is trying to make schools and businesses safer.
I just got to vote.
There you go.
Sumlin County voters get their chance to cast a ballot on the proposed casino. We talked with those out voting today about this very prominent decision. We've all seen the ads and the signs, both for and against a casino in Linn County. Now people can vote on it in various parts of Linn County. Back in 2003, voters rejected a similar referendum for gambling. KCRG TV9's Jill Caspery is here in the studio with some early reaction about this decision. Jill.
Well, Chris, it's clear some are set on their decision one way or the other. People are very passionate about this vote. The Islamic Center is the first satellite polling site to open for this special election. And it was a first for the congregation, and many Muslims and community members took part. Election workers said it was a good turnout, especially for a special election. We talked with some voters about their decision, and here's what they had to say.
I'm for it this time. I actually voted no last time, and in the years intervening, I've gone with my mother. It's a place where she can go and feel safe and socialize and have a decent meal.
In our religions, it's sin. And the second, some people, they say it's good for the city. Some people, they say they will take some jobs. But I will follow what my religion said, and I follow it, and I vote no.
If you don't want to vote early, the referendum vote is on March 5th. Otherwise, we've posted a link for you under the news link section of KCRG.com with information on other satellite voting options. Now, today's voting did take place at a worship center, so coming up tonight at 10, we'll talk about how that might impact a vote and how the county auditor decides where that voting can even take place. Chris?
Thank you, Jill. We'll look forward to that. The dreaded wintry mix might be making a return to some pockets of eastern Iowa. Meteorologist Charlene Malin now joins us with that first alert forecast.
And it's mainly across our far northern counties. In fact, there's already a winter weather advisory out in some areas that expires early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., especially across areas such as Waterloo and points farther to the west. But our far northern counties right along the Minnesota border, it'll stay through noon tomorrow. And this is mainly for the possibility of some freezing drizzle. Could make for some slick spots early in the morning. Now, live first alert pinpoint Doppler radar is dry at the moment, but as we head throughout the overnight, that's going to change. Right now, temperatures upper 20s across our northern counties, most of us in the low 30s this evening. That's where the way we're going to stay as we head toward tomorrow. Midnight, 32 degrees. That rain starting to develop overnight, and by 6 a.m. looking at widespread scattered showers with across eastern Iowa. That wintry mix should be working its way out at that time, but again across our far northern counties, especially through the morning hours, watch out for some slick spots. It'll all turn over to rain, though, as we push throughout the day.
Thank you, Charlene. And along that note, looking nationally, people living in the Northeast worked all throughout the day to clean up after that massive snowstorm swept through the region. The storm dropped about 3 feet of snow in some parts, leaving about 650,000 people without power. At least 5 deaths, 1 in New York, 1 in Connecticut, 3 in Canada, are being blamed on the storm. Even though the storm has eased up a bit on the area, people there are still warning those living in the Northeast to stay off the roads.
People need to act responsibly in these situations. We were saying all day yesterday, a storm is coming. If you don't need to be on the roads, don't be on the roads. I'm saying the same thing today. So we need cooperation on both levels.
The governor of Massachusetts enacted the first driving ban in the state since 1978. That ban was lifted just a few hours ago. Another reminder for anyone with plans in downtown Cedar Rapids tonight, the Army Corps of Engineers will be testing bridges throughout the downtown area. The 2nd Avenue Bridge is closed this evening. The 1st Avenue Bridge will be closed on Sunday. The E Avenue Bridge will be closed on Monday. The tests are the opening steps in building a new East Side River levee system. The levee is expected to be built and completed over the next 3 to 5 years. Iowa Attorney General Tom Miller wants $6 million for changes to help for domestic abuse services. This comes as Miller's trying to consolidate and close 12 of the 20 domestic abuse shelters throughout Iowa. He then wants to use the $6 million that would be saved from the closings and hire 98 more victim advocates. There are currently 271 victim advocates. These advocates help victims find permanent housing and support. He says that 40% of funding goes towards shelters, but that can only help about 10% of victims. But some lawmakers are concerned that will change. The change would be difficult on more rural victims who may have fewer housing options. A national debate takes center stage in the small Linn County town of 4,500 of Mount Vernon. Today, city leaders and those with a strong interest trying to tackle the gun control debate. KCRG TV9's Nadia Crow takes us to a crowded city hall this morning where a forum covered the growing conversation.
The guarantees which are placed in the Constitution and the amendments.
City leaders tried to steer the conversation from the Constitution and the federal government back to guns in Mount Vernon.
What can we do? This is a very rough topic.
A small community with passionate gun owners trying to figure out what to do in response to recent tragic events.
What's the real threat related to guns to a community of this size?
City Councilmember Slayton Anthony did not get that question answered. Most agree a threat exists, but how to solve it stirs the debate.
I'm not a liberal nut. I'm not an NRA member. I'm not a pry the gun from your cold dead hands guy. I'm middle of the road.
Some brought up locked doors and guards at area schools. Teacher Joel Foreman goes even further, arguing that educators need to be trained and equipped to handle an active shooting.
If we have staff on duty that are willing to go through training and receive the necessary training to help in the case of an active shooter, I don't see why we wouldn't want to ensure the safety of our kids on every level possible.
Some of those who spoke said they'd be willing to gather the money for extra school security and teacher training from the community outside of the school district's already very tight budget. While no resolutions were met, many agree this starting point would only spark further debate.
How do you make sure that individual gun, after you own it, doesn't involve itself in some unintended use that then creates real harm for our community? That's what we need to focus on.
In Mount Vernon, Nadia Crow, KCRG TV9 News.
The Dubuque County Sheriff's Office will receive $750,000 from a stolen meat scheme. 4 people from the Dubuque area sold stolen meat from a storage facility in East Dubuque. As part of the plea agreement, the judge ordered the 4 to sell off the farm where the illegal sales took place. The judge then awarded the $750,000 to the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Office will be using the forfeiture money to buy tasers. If you love the taste, the texture, and the unquestionable nutritional value of bacon, this is your week in Des Moines, being the epicenter for the Blue Ribbon Bacon Festival. More than 9,000 bacon enthusiasts came out for bacon, including the delicacies such as chocolate-covered bacon or bacon-flavored cupcakes. More than 10,000 pounds of bacon are expected to be consumed. In honor of the festival, Governor Terry Branstad pardoned 2 pigs from becoming a truly committed element of the weekend in Des Moines, setting them free. Word of all the bacon that's getting around, more and more people come every year.
I had about 200 people the first year, about 400 pounds of bacon, and it kind of caught on. We had a fun event, and then we just, started, double it the next year, and then doubled it again, and doubled it again, and now we'll probably have over 9,000 people here today.
Amid the love of bacon, one man chose to propose at the festival. She said yes. Hopefully he loves his bride to be as much as the bacon. No confirmation, though, as to whether any ring was bacon wrapped. Salute to veterans. Students say thank you to everyone in the VA hospital in Iowa City in a special way on a special day. And also from Iowa City, this is a game the Hawkeyes must win if they are to rise up in the Big Ten. Josh will tell the story of the Hawkeyes against the Purple Cats from Evanston. Keep it here with KCRG TV9.
Live from your 24-hour news source in high definition, Chris Earl, Charlene Malin, and Josh Christensen Sports. This is KCRG TV9 News at 6.
We're here to support Camp Courageous and be a part of the Cupcake War.
And may the best cupcake win. The RJ Center held its 2nd annual Cupcake Wars today. This is no mere battle of batter, a conflict of confection for the $5 just to get in. Camp Courageous benefits the Camp Courageous and everything that goes with it. KCRG photojournalist Kyle Schleister has a delicious fight.
Welcome to the 2nd Cupcake Wars.
We're here today at Cupcake Wars supporting Camp Courageous because it's a great cause, and try our luck at baking cupcakes.
We walked around a little bit ago and there's a lot of really great entries.
Thank you, bakers. We really appreciate your help as we try to raise a lot of money here for Camp Courageous.
Camp Courageous is a year-round recreational and a respite care facility for individuals with special needs, and it's all done on donations, so it's only through events like this that the camp's able to kind of reach out to so many people.
And it's a great way for people to come out. I mean, who doesn't love cupcakes? So it's a great way to come eat cupcakes and support a good cause.
You got to be happy around cupcakes.
And it's just wonderful, the people that have turned out, you know, it's great.
And we often think of Veterans Day in November, or maybe passing an anniversary to mark the end of a war. Yet today in Iowa City, the VA hospital was the setting for the 38th annual National Salute to Veteran Patients. Volunteers and others walked the halls, greeting the men and women who served our nation. Also, students from nearby Clear Creek Amana High School offered early Valentine's Day cards. Some of the recipients told us they can feel the love and the appreciation of so many.
The change in attitude, like I say, from 40 years ago to now, it's really, it breaks me up every time.
A salute opened up a week of activities where many groups, many students will volunteer at the VA hospital. Rain is on the way for much of eastern Iowa, but some of that wintry mix could seep in as well. When should we be expecting that, Charlene?
And Chris, that starts tonight across our far northern counties for that wintry mix. But as the temperatures rise tomorrow, that'll all turn over into rain. Our highs today reported by our weather spotters, upper 20s and some low to mid 30s. Will be in the 40s tomorrow. All the details to your first alert forecast coming up. So stay with KCRG TV 9.
Now the first alert forecast with meteorologist Charlene Malin.
We've seen a fairly quiet day across eastern Iowa. That's going to change, though, for the second half of your weekend. Our Decorah City Cam at this hour live shows you very quiet conditions across eastern Iowa, just holding on to those clouds, and those will stick with us overnight. Temperatures generally upper 20s into the low 30s. Everybody averaging right around 30 degrees or so. Southeast winds anywhere from 5 to 15 miles an hour. That's going to actually hold us fairly steady overnight. The clouds plus those southerly winds keeping our temperatures right around, in general, the low 30s as we head toward early tomorrow morning. What we're going to be watching, though, are these showers just off to the west and southwest. That's along for our next system right now. Quiet across eastern Iowa, just building those clouds. We've got a couple of hours until those head in, but it's right along this low pressure center. We're going to be looking mostly at rain across eastern Iowa as it pushes through. This is going to be the band of heavy snow mainly across the central plains in toward the Minnesota area, even into northern Wisconsin. That's where we're going to see the heaviest of snow. Winter weather alerts across much of the upper Midwest into the northern plains, even a blizzard warning for some of those central plains into western Minnesota. Winter storm warnings as well. If we look just a bit farther to the south, mainly across eastern Iowa, particularly northeastern Iowa, that's where we also have some of those winter alerts out there. Winter weather advisory through noon. Now, some of this will expire at 6 a.m., especially across our far western counties. This isn't for snow. This is actually for that wintry mix that we're expecting tonight. Could lead to some very slick spots on the roads across northeastern Iowa tomorrow morning. We'll time it all out. Pinpoint Futurecast starting the clock at 10 p.m. Really nothing going on until after midnight. That's when we're going to start to develop some of those rain showers, even a light wintry mix across our far northern counties. But really mid to late morning, that should all be turning into some rain, continuing to look at some scattered showers throughout the day on Sunday. By the time Sunday night rolls around, a couple of those snow showers will be developing, less than an inch of accumulation expected. Wintry mix around and north of Highway 20 overnight. Anywhere south of that, just looking at rain, and then it all turns into rain as we head throughout the day on Sunday. Your first alert forecast overnight, generally where we are right now. Some upper 20s up north, most of us sitting in the low 30s. We'll continue to watch that rain throughout the day. May get some breaks here and there, but in general, a fairly soggy Sunday. Temperatures back, though, in the mid 40s, a couple low 40s off to the north, such as Waterloo. Rain likely throughout the day, and winds will be blustery anywhere from 15 to 25 miles an hour. We do take a bit of a hit in those temperatures starting first thing in the upcoming work week. Temperatures on Monday looking to stay right around freezing for your highs. Again, that colder air moving in is going to turn some of that rain into some snow, less than an inch of accumulation, and most of that will be across far northeastern Iowa. Most of us looking up to maybe a trace or a few tenths of an inch, but then we do stay chillier throughout the rest of the work week, mainly mid-30s.
Very rare, though, when you guys go 100% on something like that. So
it's almost a sure thing.
You're pushing all your chips into the middle for tomorrow. I appreciate that. Thanks, Charlene. Josh joins us now. I've seen the Hawkeye men able to play with anybody in the Big Ten, but you have to win a home game against Northwestern.
You definitely do. They did pretty well.
well against them at Northwestern. Let's see if they can do it again at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The highlights are next on your 24-hour news source, KCRG TV 9. Finishing games has been a huge issue for the Hawkeyes in league play. Of their 7 Big Ten losses, 5 of them have been by 4 points or less. The Hawkeyes were hoping to find the win column today at home versus Northwestern. It's been a rough month for Devin Marble, but his teammates got him going today. Marble with a two-handed jam in transition to put the Hawkeyes on the board first. Then later, Marble for 3. Money. Hawkeyes up 7-6. Marble was also distributing to his teammates as well. Nice pass to Melson Basabi, who finishes with the layup. Hawkeyes led 29-25 at halftime. Second half, how about a little defense? Eric May with the steal. One-handed jam, LeBron style. Iowa up by 5. Then the 3 started falling for Iowa. Zach McCabe from the corner, all twine on that one. Then CR Washington grad Josh Oglesby with 3 of his 10 points. That three-pointer puts the Hawkeyes up by 12. And like we said, this day belonged to Devin Marble. Here he's going to get the steal. He's all alone, takes his time. Two-handed jam. He had 21 points on the day. Hawkeyes go on to win 71-57. The Iowa State men's basketball team is hoping to pull off a regular season sweep against Kansas State. These two teams met just 2 weeks ago. The Cyclones won that game 73-67 in Ames. The Cyclones had to fight back early in this one, down 17-10. Corey Lucius with the three-pointer. That puts the Cyclones down just 17-13. Chris Babb comes back with a deep three-pointer of his own, and I mean deep, all twine. That puts the Cyclones up by 3, and the threes just kept on falling for Iowa State. Lucius, corner pocket. Hits it. Cyclones up 26-19, but Kansas State comes right back here. They have a 2-on-1. Angel Rodriguez with the layup. Wildcats down by 1. They would take the lead. Closing minute now. Melvin Edgem sniffs out the pass, gets the steal. He's going to throw it down with 2 hands. Kansas State led 33-32 at halftime. Right now in the second half, it's Kansas State 46, Iowa State 39. Iowa State women's basketball also in action, taking on Kansas State at home. Anna Prince with a turnaround jumper. She surpassed the 1,000-point mark on Wednesday. The Cyclones dominated right away. Nicole Blaskowski for the tray. Cyclones up 17-8. Then Chelsea Poppins took over. Nice bucket underneath. Watch this. Great concentration. That puts her team up 23-8. And then it's Poppins again down low. And she's fouled as she gets the bucket. She had 22. Iowa State wins it 87-71. Cornell women's basketball at home hosting Lawrence University. The Rams trailed at the start of the game, trying to come back. Ricky Malloy hits the 3-ball in the corner. She had 18. Rams down by 1. How about a little defense? Dubuque senior grad Catherine Schilling with the steal. Watch this finish. She's going to lay it in, and she's going to get fouled. Rams still down by 1. They would eventually take the lead. Nice pass to Mount Vernon native Taylor Dickus for the bucket down low. Cornell gets its 20th win of the season, defeating Lawrence 93-47. Co-men's basketball hosting Wartburg. The Cohawks offense clicked right away. David Mataloni from the top of the key, all twine. That puts the Cohawks on the board first. Co started the game on a 13-0 run. Here's Cedar Falls native Andrew Worth. Drive, stop, pop, and drop. Wartburg didn't get on the board until 4:15 into the game off this three-pointer, but Co answered right back with a three-pointer of its own. Max Marzo from the top of the key hits it. Co crushes Wartburg 79-44. High school state swimming. Iowa City West first swim of the day, 200 medley relay. Here we go. They would get off to a quick start. Finished in third in their heat behind Johnston and Muscatine in a time of 1 minute 36 seconds. That placed them third overall. CR Washington's Rio Ueno in the 100-yard freestyle going up against teammate Jacob Kehoe. Ueno was able to finish in his heat in first place in a time of 49 seconds. He would finish 12th overall. Then it's Josh Hughes of Washington. Hughes got out to a fast start, didn't let up. Led by as much as 50 yards at one point. He would finish 2 seconds over everybody, taking first place. Muscatine, though, took home the state championship. High school wrestling Class 3A districts at Marion. 106 class Dubuque seniors Chase Lynn gets the near fall on Prairie Sam, Utah. Lynn would win the match 14-5. Next 2 classes, Linmar would get a couple of pins. 113 Matt Wepman gets pins Jefferson Kyle Briggs in 25 seconds. Then in 120, Elijah Jeffrey pins Jefferson's Patrick Rashad in the 157 mark. 126 class Prairie's Josh Wenger gets the leg, takes down Linmar's Damon Griffin. 2 big points. Wenger takes it 9-7. 132 class, Jefferson's Michael Monsivais taking on Linmar's Toby Northrup. Monsivais gets the pin. Right now we don't know who won the district, but it was pretty exciting early on.
Catch up much more with that at 10.
That's
We'll be right back.
Casts every day.
Rain and a wintry mix develop overnight. That wintry mix mainly right around and north of Highway 20. Could be looking at some very slick spots on the road tomorrow morning, but through the middle of the day into the afternoon, all that turns over into some rain.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Josh. And thank you so much for joining us for the KCRG TV9 News at 6. We do appreciate you being here. And come on back tonight for the TV9 News at 10. Until then, have a great Saturday night.